Welcome to Working Progress. This is the podcast where we dive into the strategies for success and journey toward progress. Whether you're aiming for personal growth, professional transformation, or both, you have come to the right place. Today, we are thrilled to have Vanessa Boettcher, the Chief Operating Officer of TTI Success Insights, joining us here at beautiful ETA in Scottsdale, which is right down the street from our new building. It's delicious, it's beautiful, and it's the perfect location to kick off the new year. Vanessa has extensive experience on the international side of business, and she is here today to share exciting details about the brand new leadership report set to release on March 6th. So let's dive in. Vanessa, thanks for being here to talk with us today. And to kick it off, what inspired the creation of the leadership report and how does it differ from other reports?
Thank you for having me, Shaunna. I'm excited to share where this idea came from and why are we moving forward with it this year. The original idea of pushing this leadership report really has been a combination of both the global network and the North American network. It's been a request for many years. And finally, last year, in summer of last year, we decided with the master distributors that we needed to definitely tackle this project and come up with a leadership version of the report. Initially, we thought that we can just adapt the existing Talent Insights version into a leadership version by moving some of the words around and adding the word leadership to some of the statements. However, we had our master distributor from Australia, Trevor O'Sullivan, jumping in our project and actually bringing a lot more to it. So it became a pretty good-sized project that we are so excited to launch and we're so excited for you to get to see.
So what are some of the unique insights that are in the leadership report? What are we going to learn about some of the leadership behaviors?
So while the core of the report remains the same, because we're still measuring behaviors and motivators, we did adapt some of the text. Particularly, Trevor thought of something that truly zoomed in to the leadership area, and he changed the whole section that we all know as time wasters for productivity boosters. So now that section shows up in this leadership report. And why he thought about that is because it was a more productive way to share what the strengths of those leaders were and where were the areas where they needed to focus.
Beautiful. I know that I'm very excited to see the productivity boosters in that report. What would you say would be the best way to introduce this tool to leaders who might be new to our assessments?
So as in any other version of the report, the magic word is connection. When you feel connected with the assessments, whether it's DISC or driving forces, it doesn't matter. But when you feel connected, then it makes a lot more sense. And that piece of awareness comes a lot more naturally. So understanding that while, again, the core of the assessment is still the same, we adapted it so anybody in a leadership position, and remember, you can be a leader by position or by expertise. So anybody in a leadership position or potential to be in a leadership position would benefit from using this report because they could really connect their own strengths and understand their limitations in order to be the best leader they can be.
Beautiful. So how can organizations use the leadership report to identify those high potential employees? For, like you said, maybe they're not in a current leadership role, but they are trying to explore, would this person be a good fit for this role?
Well, it is key, of course, that they understand what they're expecting as an organization from a leader, right? So I would start always by identifying what is it that we're expecting from this position in a leadership role, and therefore understanding what that person brings from that leadership angle in that report. Is it, somebody that you're going to have to work with in some areas because of the needs of the business? Are the traits that they bring into the table enough for that specific request or demand from the business. So you're going to be able to see, of course, all of what you bring value to the organization, value to the team, leadership characteristics and traits. So we did add about 750 statements were changed in total, right? Out of the entire collection of text, if you may, from the this side and the motivator side, we took about 750 statements, and those statements were all updated, and some of them even rewrote in order to tackle leadership in a proper way.
Amazing. So, because you work a lot on the international side, what were some of the processes for adapting the leadership report for different languages or different cultures?
So it is interesting you ask that question, because even sometimes just in the same language, it is important that we are very cognizant of the cultural variations. So as I mentioned earlier, Trevor O'Sullivan from Australia worked with us in this project. And while still English, we did identify some areas that we needed to adapt for the North American market. And so having a really straight view on how we're supposed to adapt this, so people, again, can connect with the results based on the words that are being used, based on how we basically phrase everything that we're trying to message to them, that the specific thing we're trying to tell them plays a big role. So more than just translating the text, it's about adapting the text properly, making sure that the words resonate culturally speaking. And this is one of the reasons why we leverage a lot from our master distributors. They understand, they know how to convey the message. Therefore, the adaptations of these translations are critical for the success of the report, so the respondent can properly connect with it.
I love it. And I love that not only is this a North American release, this is a worldwide release.
That's right.
So do you have any recommendations for rolling out the leadership report across teams or organizations that have been using different reports of ours?
Yeah, I think it's going to help a lot to connect with your customers, right? And while we're looking at the core is the same, but it's how we're wording it so you can present it for a given process to your customer. It is being adapted to leadership specifically. If we think about the importance of the leadership roles nowadays, how everything has changed and evolved, and what people expect from a leadership position, this report comes to be key in the development of a person, right? It brings you that awareness that you need for any journey that you want to start, whether it's a personal development, whether it's professional growth, whether it's because you want to advance in your career. Having that awareness and having a tool that will help you get to that awareness is the beginning of your journey. There's absolutely nothing better than starting with that awareness. So just the name will help you connect the dots. And when you're offering a solution that includes leadership, but more than that, we want to make sure that people connect with it and understand, fine, we're working in a leadership environment. Let's look at this. Let's use the proper words. Let's help you understand and connect with your report better.
So then how do you see tools like this evolving then? Because this is going to the first version of this tool. So how do you see it evolving to meet the changing needs of leaders?
Definitely, there's probably going to be changes in the future. Why? Because in TTI, we're looking to evolve more now than ever. And our advantage and our strategy for the future doesn't necessarily come from bringing new products on. It comes from bringing very specific visions and applications of the products we already have. So as we learn and as we measure the application of this report in the market, there will be probably quite a few things that we're going to integrate and that we're going to update, right? The key is to keep our reports evolving as humanity and society evolves. We don't want to keep anything stagnant. We don't want to go back and say, oh, we haven't visited with this report in the last 10 years. It is a matter of keeping them current. So especially in leadership, definitely one of our goals is to make sure that we're current and that we're using things that are happening at the moment so people can connect with them. So there will be more to come.
So last question, Vanessa. Any final thoughts on the leadership report? What are you the most excited about with this new release of the report?
So I encourage everybody to try it. While you might be very familiar with the other versions, these will give you for sure a different insight. Getting familiar with the word. What do you want to do with that productivity booster section? How is that going to help you in your services, in your offers, right? We're also working on a very specific debriefing guide that is going to address this report. So we want to make sure you have the tools that are needed in order for you to become familiar, to start using it, to offer it to your customers. We're coming up with some additional information to share with you the importance of a leadership report in the marketplace. What is the marketplace saying about this? So we're going to share some ideas, some statistics as to what's happening out there when it comes to leadership. So then you can put a complete picture of this assessment within your offers.
So we're really setting our partners up for success with this report.
Absolutely. Our mission is to make sure that when we launch a report moving forward, you have everything that you need in order to succeed in the marketplace.
I love it, because that's really what we want.
That's right. And this is all thought through feedback. This is us listening to the needs of the market, but also wanted to make it easier for you to do business with us.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa, for walking us through the incredible potential with this new leadership report. It's clear that this tool is a game changer for organizations aiming to really grow their leadership talent. For our listeners, if you are as excited as we are about the opportunities this report has, again, it is going to be released on March 6th. So thank you for tuning into Working Progress. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing, sharing it with a colleague, or leaving a review. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep making progress. Thank you so much.